Hi, welcome to Community Connections. My name is Jane Powell. Community Connections is a program showcasing community involvement brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. Our guest today is Betty Knighton, Director of West Virginia for Civic Life, and we're going to talk about what's next West Virginia.
Yeah.
So this is very exciting. So tell me, what's next for West Virginia?
Well, it's a statewide initiative, but it's happening one community at a time. And basically, it's designed to encourage conversations in communities around West Virginia about how to build a stronger future for their community and for the state as a whole, with a special emphasis on how to build strong local economies.
Okay, so we're talking about the whole state and the whole state's economy. How do you get started? How is that organized?
Well, actually, there's a broad coalition of partners throughout the state of West Virginia. Some are from community foundations, some are from faith groups, some are from nonprofit organizations, government agencies. They've all come together to try to encourage people to have these completely nonpartisan conversations in their communities, but to localize the conversations to the kinds of economic challenges and opportunities that are available in each community in the state of West Virginia. Then we're going to try to knit together those conversations so that people throughout the state can learn from each other's work, and they can build on what they're learning from each other and share that and capture it throughout West Virginia, and then share that with other states in the Appalachian region.
Wow, okay, so it starts with a conversation, but these conversations are happening at different locations in the state.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, it is. They're happening around the state. We've just traveled the state of West Virginia, and we had regional workshops in 5 different parts of the state. We were in Martinsburg, Wheeling, Beckley, Charleston, and Buchanan, so that people from all the different areas of the state who wanted to kind of come together and talk about ways that they could convene different people in their communities that have different points of view from different walks of life, different backgrounds, how they could bring people together to have conversations about building a strong future for their own area. And based after those workshops we've just concluded the 5th workshop in Wheeling. Now what people are doing is they're back in their communities, they're hard at work, they're bringing people together who are already involved in some really interesting and creative work in their communities. There's already obviously a lot that's going on in West Virginia communities in terms of economic prosperity and community development. What we're trying to do then is to help people make connections within their own communities and then bring new people into the mix and to bring new ideas into the mix. And then we're working with a number of partners that are helping communities do that kind of organization and that kind of work so that conversations are being localized. So for example, later this week, there will be a conversation in Clay County called What's Next Clay County. There'll be one in St. Albans, What's Next St. Albans, What's Next Wheeling, What's Next Martinsburg. So people are taking the idea of bringing people together to have conversations about the future of their area very seriously, and they're also finding ways to make it very local so that they can build on what's already happening in their communities. And since we have such kind of diverse needs in different parts of our state, what we're trying to do is to capture and share ideas that come out of these different parts of the state statewide.
Well, because when you talk about Charleston and Wheeling, you're talking about big cities in West
Yes.
Virginia, and then you talk about Buchanan and Clay County, which are smaller areas,
Yes.
completely different makeup,
Yes.
land, communities, very different conversations.
Very different conversations, and also there have been a number of shifts in West Virginia over the last, say, 50 or 60 years. One of the things that we did as a statewide kind of planning team in preparation for these conversations was to kind of pull together some basic information about where we've been and where we seem to be heading in terms of things like demographics and different jobs that are available in West Virginia. And we've noticed, for example, there's been a major shift in population in West Virginia. The Eastern Panhandle and the Monongalia and Preston County areas are growing. Parts of the Northern Panhandle, parts of southern West Virginia have seen a population dip in some areas. And so that's one change. The number 1 employer in West Virginia in terms of private employer used to be Weirton Steel. Now the number 1 employer in West Virginia is Walmart. So there are some implications in terms of job availability and the types of jobs that are available then. The number 1 industry in West Virginia in 1950 was manufacturing. Manufacturing is still in the top 5, but it's number 5 now. And health services and social services is number 1. So there have been a lot of shifts that we've undergone in West Virginia. Other states have as well. And so this is a really good time, I think, for communities to come together and the state as a whole to kind of take an assessment of where are we now, where do we want to go, and how do we want to get there.
And one of the things that I love the most about these conversations is everyone is invited. Rich, poor, old, young, working, non-working, community involved, just getting community involved. Everybody is invited to these conversations.
It not only are people welcome, it's almost necessary.
Because everybody brings a different
Everybody
viewpoint.
brings a different point of view. People bring their own experiences. Yes, there are some basic, strategic facts they might need to know about their community or that they might need to know about the state of West Virginia as a whole. But mostly people are informed by their own lives, their own experiences, but what their vision is for the future, what their hopes are, and then what they also see happening in terms of their role in the community and the roles of the organizations and agencies that are already at work. So it's really important, and what we've seen in these regional workshops is how I think the question itself, what's next West Virginia, really sparks people's imaginations. And so we've seen people come to the workshops who then are back in their communities trying to organize local discussions. Some of them are in like maybe more traditional leadership positions in their community. Others are community volunteers. Others are just interested citizens that want to be a part of building a stronger, more connected conversation in a community that then can drive how that community wants to build on the actions that are possible. So it's really a dialogue to action initiative, realizing obviously that there are already a number of very important actions that are already occurring. So this obviously is not starting from scratch.
Right.
It's building on what's currently working and happening in West Virginia communities, but also bringing in new ideas and new people.
Dialogue to action.
Dialogue
I like
to
that.
action, yes.
Yes, I like that. And then one thing we were talking about earlier, how one community may have a conversation that sparks an idea that you are able to share with another community.
Yes. That's one of the main goals of many of the organizations that are involved in this at the state and local levels, and that is, how can we learn from one another in West Virginia? People are constantly being surprised, even when they find out what's happening in their own community. Sometimes people that have lived there for years aren't aware of all the interesting and innovative things that are happening. And then certainly between different parts of the state, we often don't understand or have much of a learning apparatus set up so that we can learn from each other's work. Just last week we were in Wheeling, where they seem to really be doing some very dynamic things to get young adults involved in community work, community conversations, community development. And other parts of the state that we've visited are struggling to get, say, the 20-somethings and the 30-somethings involved. So one of the things we want to do is to capture, well, what's working in Wheeling that's allowing that level of participation by young adults, and what can we learn from that we can share with the communities that are struggling. And then on the same hand, Wheeling wants to learn from what's happening in other parts of the state in areas where maybe they aren't having as much success.
I love that, because it allows them to talk, and who knows what comes out of those conversations.
Yes, right.
Which I guess is the whole point.
And that is the whole point, is that part of it is people become more aware of where they can fit into their community's work, and not just individual people, but nonprofit groups and faith groups and government agencies, community foundations, all are involved in a number of ways in the communities, but they don't often have a chance to necessarily connect with one another. So the real idea behind these conversations is to connect the kind of existing initiatives, pieces, directions that communities are taking, and then to capture what's happening and share that as kind of as a mechanism of kind of having a statewide conversation that's very localized at the community level. It's going to take a lot of sharing of those local stories to build up to what we see as our possibilities as for the state as a whole.
Now, you, through West Virginia for Civic Life, are the, I guess, primary caretaker of what's next West Virginia, but you have partners.
We have incredible and wonderful partners, and there's actually been a statewide steering team. The West Virginia Community Development Hub is a fantastic partner. They work throughout the state to help communities develop strong economies and strong local community practices that allow those economies to thrive. And so as people in these community discussions move more from the talking into the acting stage, the Community Development Hub is going to provide, any kind of like coaching or assistance or advice, point them in the direction of some help that they might have if they get stuck or have some problems as they're trying to move forward. So the Community Development Hub is a wonderful resource. West Virginia Public Broadcasting has been a wonderful partner, and what they're trying to do is to help us capture these stories that are happening in places around the state. Their motto is telling West Virginia's story, and this is one way in which they're doing that is by capturing the work and the conversations of local communities and then trying to share those with throughout the state. We're working with community foundations such as the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. We're working with the West Virginia Council of Churches. We're working with just a number of United Ways throughout the state are involved in this. Various agencies, the Bureau of Public Health, Office of Healthy Lifestyles has been a great partner, and all are welcome. So we're continuing to kind of grow and expand as more and more people get involved. We're working with Philanthropy West Virginia, so you get the idea. There are all these different sectors that are very impactful on the economic future of our state. And what we're trying to do is kind of knit them together in ways that they may not have had an opportunity to interact before, and to see what comes of that, not only at the state level, but mainly at the local levels as well.
That's great. And I know that you have a website, and through that website you're able to capture some of these conversations through videos and other things that people can watch and learn from.
Sure.
Is that right?
Yes. As a matter of fact, people can find materials to help them get these conversations going in their local communities on the website as well. We developed a discussion guide after talking to hundreds of West Virginians and capturing their ideas about the future and their concerns and opportunities they saw for work. So people can go to the website, they can get free download of a community discussion guide. There are support materials for people who want to be neutral facilitators, because these conversations are organized in a nonpartisan way, although people who come to the conversations are free to express any point of view they'd like. There's a video that can be downloaded. We also hope people will go to the What's Next West Virginia website to tell their story. So go there and look for the tab that says tell us your story. Let us know what's happening in your community so that we can follow up with you and try to capture more of what you're doing so that it can be shared with other people.
I love that. I love that. And so people can kind of explore the website, get a feeling for it, then contact your office, contact West Virginia. There are plenty of ways.
Yes, they can start by, they can call us at the West Virginia Center for Civic Life. It may be a question or some assistance that they need that's more suited to one of the other state level or local partners. And then what's really wonderful is that these local coalitions are coming together in various counties. Sometimes it's a county that wants to say, what's next Upshur County, or they might want to just choose a town within that county and focus on that. You could even choose your neighborhood. If you wanted to say what's next East End or what's next West Side, you could do that. And so we're encouraging people to kind of localize it in the ways they want. There's some information on the website that helps people find local information, local kind of very reliable data that they can start with, and then to see where they want to go from there. And also to look around and see what's already happening in their communities and see if there's a way that they can connect that into a kind of a cohesive conversation that allows new people into the mix. There's a lot of people in West Virginia that have a lot of ideas that haven't necessarily been a part of these kinds of community discussions before. So we want to invite new people to come and participate.
So I know that they can check out the website, and then social media plays a big part of this.
Yes, there's a Facebook page. There we have opportunities for people to learn and contribute through the Facebook page, the Twitter, the website, and we're continually looking for new ways to get the word out. The media in West Virginia, a lot of newspapers and local TV stations have been kind of really intrigued, I think, by this idea. So we've had a lot of coverage at these local workshops, and we hope that people in the local communities will continue those relationships so that the word can continue to get out.
Okay, so just let me just throw the website out there one more time. It is what'snextwestvirginia.org, where people can go to find information.
Just abbreviate WV, what'snextwv.org,
there
and
you go.
They'll find us. I think you'd find us either way.
Great way to find information. information. We hope that you check it out. Look for the Community Discussion Guide, and join us next time for Community Connections, brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation.
Thanks, Jane.
Thanks, Betty. Nice to have you on the show.
Very nice to be here.